Hey, welcome back, everyone. How are you all doing today? Hope you're doing amazing and happy holidays for some of you that you're celebrating. So, in today's video, we're going to discuss the usuals, the top setup. We're going to talk about technicals, and then we're going to jump into a few fundamentals before we now go back to the top setups. I mean, the trade recommendation, the one that I'll be sharing with you today. And yeah, without further ado, I would say let's jump straight into it. Today we're going to be kicking off with the Edge Finder top setup. As you can see right at the top here, we have Dow Jones, okay, we have Russell, we have dollar yen, we have Nasdaq, we have S&P 500, we have FTSE, we have dollar Swiss, dollar oil, crude oil, dollar card, platinum, copper, Bitcoin, all of them reading pretty bullish, especially the dollar yen Russell and Dow. They are very bullish. I'm quite interested in Dow. I would say slightly interested in Russell, but I'm not sure I'll be buying dollar yen. Why? Because I still don't know where dollar is leading to. Okay, it is all very bleak for now on the dollar, and I really do not want to rush into it. I already have a Kiwi dollar trade that is in a mess right now, but because that's the only dollar trade I have running right now, I just try to reduce and limit my exposure to dollar for now, considering the fact that most of the other forex pairs they are not quite obvious. I mean, they are not clear yet, so I'll just limit it down. And when it comes to commodities, I have oil trade going, silver short. I'm still holding, but I'm already trading very, very tightly. So any gap to the upside will definitely close me out on silver. Pound dollar, Aussie dollar. Kiwi dollar here is reading very bearish, considering the fact that I'm currently buying this one. It's actually very tricky, all right. But very bearish is clear because on the technical, the trend is actually it's pretty bearish. The fundamentals on the other hand also quite bleak. Okay, you can see negative two, negative two, negative two right there. And I would just say I'm following technicals on this one. Euro dollar very bearish as well with a score of nine, negative nine, excuse me, right here. And that is also very interesting. Okay, I'm not selling euro dollar for now because on the technicals, it looks like yeah, we can get another leg to the downside, then further rally to the upside on euro dollar. But on the other hand, I don't have a plan to short euro dollar for now. Okay, so I think we that's another one I'm have to gonna sit on. I'm gonna sit on it and wait patiently for when the time will be right to execute. And after that, Aussie dollar, I'm not interested in selling. Pound dollar, I expect a leg lower on Aussie dollar, pound dollar, and euro dollar. All right. Although NZD dollar I'm currently holding is a little bit problematic. Okay, because any leg low, any deeper leg lower will probably take me out in a loss. Right. But we shall see. Okay. Bitcoin on the other hand, I am currently in what's going on with this thing? Very good. So with it Bitcoin, what's going on? I want to delete though. That's the plan. Okay. So Bitcoin, yeah, I'm selling. I'm still holding a short on Bitcoin. And I've been doing this for a very long time now. But I don't think I'll be buying Bitcoin. Doesn't look smart to buy. If I want to buy, I have a plan to buy at 45, 55, and potentially 50. And when I'm buying here, it's gonna be a spot buy. Okay, I'm not gonna buy on a CFD base. It's gonna be more like I'm investing into it because my extreme stop loss would be around that 35 to 15K. That's where my stop loss would be. If I'm buying, that means anything around there, I'll be cutting my loss if I'm investing on Bitcoin. And my target will be, whatever the case may be, 200K in the next 2, 3 years. So again, it's an investment plan, not a trading plan. I'm going to be buying on a CFD basis when the time is right. You'll be the first to know as a subscriber. So if this is the first time, please do so well to subscribe to the channel, and please also like the video. It will do very well for the content created here, and the content here, and the channel will also grow just by clicking the like button. Yeah, silver still read very big. I mean, still read pretty bearish. Yeah. Okay, so nothing to say there. On the U.S. economic hitmap front, yeah, I mean, look at the job data that we got last week. Okay, it was looks extremely perforated to me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna say. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. It looks like a perforated data because I mean, in the last 3 months, there is no big company that have actually come out to say yes, we are recruiting. Okay, no big company, and we heard. I mean, several layoffs since January. But yeah, last month's data came pretty good, right? It's weird. I don't think so. But whatever the case may be, that's what we have. That's what we have to work with. But I don't believe it. That's just the way it is. Anyways, ADP 62K when the market is expecting 41K. Still pretty low, still pretty weird. Jot's job opening also came pretty short by I think point 0.1 million. That's like 10,000. Pretty low, pretty weird, right? But I mean, that's all we have in the United States. I don't really trust any of this labor data. I trust the manufacturing PMIs. I will read into the GDP. All right, CPI data, all of them can easily be trailed. So I trust these guys. When it comes to the labor data, I don't trust that. I really don't because it's actually it doesn't tally with what we have in reality. Okay, when they said CPI, I mean, inflation is actually going higher. As you can see, PPI and PCI are going up. We can all smell it. Okay, even if you are not in the United States, you can literally smell through inflation everywhere. All right. Although consumer price index that stay at 2.4%, I mean it's weird. But anyways, that's still fair. When that comes to the labor data, considering we are hearing and reading about layoffs every now and then. And I was also checking ChatGPT the other time, just trying to do some research. All right. Let me see if I can get that for you. Okay. I think is he on economics? I'm not sure he's here. When was that? When was this? Let me check this place. Is he here? Let's check if he's here. I was going through some things, just trying to check, do some research. Let's go back to the edge finder if it's not, if this is not gonna load. Okay. I think is he here? I don't think it's here either. Where did I put it? I think it should be somewhere around here. Correct macro interpretation. If I say this time. Okay, this right here. No, I said I had I asked a question. There is no broad collapse or massive reduction in dollar. Okay, no, that's not the question. Uh, that's not the question. Docking sanction by exchange, equity markets. No, not this one. Is it this one? LinkedIn. I'm not sure, guys, but I was trying to check that GPT the other time just to ask a basic question like, is there any major companies that requested that came out and declared that they actually just employed few people, like few thousands of people, and he said no. But non-government, blah blah blah, kind of came out, and he's referring me to the NFP that was released. So, I mean, I was expecting you to tell me that Meta or Amazon or Microsoft, IBM, Oracle kind of employed more people because definitely if they employ more people, they will be very loud about it. Okay. So when I couldn't find that, since I couldn't find that, I cannot really go like stand behind this data and go like, yeah, it's genuine. I mean, I might sound weird to you, but that's just where I stand for now. But anyways, let's keep tab on what we have right now. So this is we are right here, 72%, 72.73% on dollar strength. I would say I'll buy into that considering the data we have right here. And on the stock market, we have 63.64%. Also pretty fair enough in my personal opinion. We shall see. All right. New week, new economic data releases. Right here we have ISM service PMI in the United States on Monday. Tuesday is pretty flat. All right. We have on Wednesday we have in the Reserve Bank of New Zealand interest rate. It's actually forecasted to remain the same. All right. In April 8th. Right. On Thursday we have on Wednesday we have FOMC meeting minutes, but we know this is just a read through kind of document, nothing too fancy about it. Okay, but it's gonna give us like an insight to what we can expect from the Fed in the coming week. So you might want to read that when it's released. And then on Thursday we have PCE and final GDP in the United States. Okay, still expect the GDP expected to remain the same. Okay, and don't be shocked when you see 4.2% next month. Okay, don't be shocked when you see 4.2% or maybe 5%. It's pretty weird right now, right? Data are being released and you can't really trust it. That's why I lean more into technicals lately. But at the same time, I keep tabs on fundamentals, but I lean closer and closer to the fundamentals lately because that's the only thing that kind of makes sense to me in this, considering everything that's going on right now in the global market. So I don't really trust the data that has been released. When you actually go and research the data, I mean the actual factual numbers of job added, inflation, and when you collate it and compare it with the data that is being released, you see that there's a little bit of perforation and adjustment being made that you don't really understand. So you just have to be very cautious. So that's why we're going to spend some more time on technicals today as time goes on. And yeah, in Canada we have unemployment change, we have employment rate as well, and then on Friday we have this core CPI, CPI. I mean, every all the CPIs are coming on Friday in the United States, but the labor data in Canada is coming next week, Friday. So you want to pay close attention to that. It's actually expected to come pretty higher too, pretty strong. I don't really know. I don't really follow more economic data. I mean, the labor data in Canada because it's very hard to actually pull their information, and not so much is covered over there. But I guess I will check through that and then report on Wednesday to tell you what to expect in Canada. When it comes to United States, inflation is expected to actually go up. All right. CPI year on year is expected at 3.4%. That is massive. That's going to actually help dollar rally, but economically, it is bad. Okay, CPI month on month also at 1%. That's like 0.7% increase. That's awful. These are all the data that is actually factored into why we've seen some strength in the price of the dollar in the last couple of days now. So I guess we shall see. All right, we shall see. So inflation is actually pegged higher across board, both CPI, the core CPI, the CPI month on month, and the annual CPI. They are all pegged to come higher than previous, which is actually very scary. Considering the fact that I want a weaker dollar, right? So we shall see. But the Canadian labor data, I can't really tell you much about that. But once I read one or two that kind of makes sense, I'm gonna shoot it into the Discord server and give you an expose on it. So that is where I'm at right now on the economic front. Let's jump straight into the technicals. So today we're gonna start with indices. Let's start with no, let's start with dollar index. So dollar index, in my personal opinion, we are still waiting for this fifth wave. Okay, this with five to the upside. However, when you actually take a look at the chart, you see that dollar is finding it pretty hard to break above this region. Okay, this particular 100 region, this resistance right here, dollar is finding it pretty hard to break above it. So, but I will still say that there's high possibilities of getting this particular higher highs. All right, to complete these one, two, 3, 4, and 5 motive waves before we see the further drop in the price of the dollar index. All right. However, we have an alternative setup. Okay, considering the fundamentals coming, if anything shakes and dollar weakness set back in, okay, provided considering the fact that it's still right below 100 region, okay, and we see a break out of this particular trend line, okay, then we can wait for a pullback to retest the trend line, then maybe further drop to the downside. But I'm not calling that right now because I'm still on a technical bullish momentum. I want to see the completion of this motive wave before the drop. Now, what I'm saying is very, very bad for my NZD long position that I actually have right now. But overall, you have to just follow the technicals, right? We've seen this flag pattern actually getting broken and retested. So now is the time to actually expect that to in fact move higher. Considering now when you factor the CPI month on month, the core CPI and the annual CPI, all of them pegged and expected to actually come higher than previous. I mean, it's just a matter of time for us to see the XY break above this particular region, right? But if anything changes and we get it to break below this particular support here, then we can expect it to fall lower to the downside. So you might want to watch out very, very closely on the dollar this particular week. Okay, watch out very closely. And the reason behind my alternative setup on dollar index is because right at the top here we have what we can call divergence, okay, on the daily time frame. And when I say divergence on the daily time frame, I do not like playing with it. Okay, it is one of the strongest and the most consistent kind of setup I've ever traded or I've ever been able to monitor in the last 3 years. So that is another reason why I was actually strong enough and comfortable enough to take that long on NZD dollar. Okay, but looking back right now, everything looks pretty bleak, but we shall see. Okay, we shall see. So let's just pay close attention to what we have right here on the dollar index, and with time, okay, everything will reveal itself, and we're gonna get a better momentum moving forward. All right, so that is that on dollar index. Now let's jump straight to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you do know that I am currently. So right here on Bitcoin, I mean, we all know that I am currently shorting Bitcoin because it's been like the order of the day kind of setup for me. I've been holding this short on Bitcoin for a very long time now. Okay, so we shall see how this goes. But in my personal opinion, let's go to the 8 hour time frame. I think 8 hour time frame is fair enough. So on the 8 hour band, we are kind of like getting a kind of a supply here. If we take this down to 2 hour time frame, it will be more clearer. Let's do that. Okay, that's supply at the top there. Let's take it to 2 hour time frame so it can all get pretty clearer. Aha. So this is the 2 hour time frame. Let me see if I can get this off real. Yeah, and I think we have the supply zone at the top here. Okay, I think we have supply at the top here on the 2 hour time frame. So that is that. Let me see if I can remove some of this from the daily and keep it at the hourly time frame. I think that's fair enough. Good. So moving forward on this one, okay, good. So I would say that there is high possibility that we could get another leg to the upside on Bitcoin. Okay, something like this: higher high, higher low, higher high, before it drops further. Okay, even further down. All right, that is the first part. The second part would be this one, something like this: a rally to the upside. Okay, back to that 71, 79K region on Bitcoin, right around here. Okay, before we get that massive drop in the price of Bitcoin further down again. So two regions for a potential short on Bitcoin. If you want to just join this one, if you're not already holding a short at the top here and you didn't join at the top here, I think we have a short right here at 67K, and we also have another short right here at the full retest, okay, at the mitigation of this particular supply zone at 72K. Okay, we could get 67K short, and we can as well look for 72K short on Bitcoin. So watch out for those. My target still remain around 57K, and the extreme short target will be at 69.50K, which is where I'll be looking for buy opportunities moving forward. All right, I discussed this when we were talking about the fundamentals earlier. So those are the regions I'm looking for short and long on Bitcoin. So pay close attention to them. It could be something that you might want to actually join in the coming days. All right, so that is that on that. Okay, that is that on that. So I think that is much better. Let me make it visible on the daily. Good. So that is that. Let me remove it from the hourly. Good. So that is that on that on Bitcoin. So pay close attention to it. It's still very young, very chilled. You might want to look very close to the setup. Okay, you might want to pay close attention to it so you don't miss out on it. So that is that on that. The next one would be, let me actually perfect everything on this one. Let me put that one there like that. So it should be obvious on the 4 hour time frame as well. Good. So moving on to my NZD short, right? I mean, long trade I took on NZD dollar, right? It was a very beautiful one because I took the long trade around here. My internet is playing chicken again. You can see that engulfing candle. The market retested this particular demand zone, right? And the market jump up, engulf the old daily time frame candle. That was a clear signal to short, I mean to go long. And I took the buy around there. The market actually went up on Monday. All right. And I mean, it went up on Monday, on Tuesday. I took this on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. This is how the market is right now. Very, very close to my stop loss. I'm actually considering, or I will be considering extending my stop loss a little bit, probably to this bottom, because if I'm actually gonna hold NZD dollar, my target would be right at the top here, potentially. Okay, it's still gonna give me 1 to 3. Okay, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 before that is just the plan, honestly. But yet again, I will just relax and watch this out. But there is high possibility that I would be adjusting my stop loss on this one. High possibility of that. Okay, high possibility of that. So let's pay close attention to NZD dollar. There is, I mean, if you want to buy, I would say wait for the breakup over here. Okay, something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you can wait for the next entry right at the breakup over here. If you want to buy, if you want to short, if you want to short NZD dollar, which I don't know if I'm gonna advise it, but if you think it makes sense to short, and that is the only thing that looks good to you, I would say wait for another leg to the downside and wait for a decent pullback to retest this particular support, then use as resistance. Then you can now sell it to the downside. If I see something like this myself, I might in fact join. Okay, but we shall see. Okay, we shall see. No point in rushing the dollar pairs now. At least let's see how Monday, Tuesday goes before knowing what to do moving forward. So on Aussie card, I still have my short trade on Aussie card. So first off, I still have this particular short trade I'm currently holding. And why am I still holding the short? If you're probably kind of like just wondering. So let's take a close look at the weekly time frame. All right. So first of all, we have these particular resistances. Okay, we have this right here, and we have this right here. There's a cluster of structures here. Okay, cluster of them, and that is what makes this particular zone pretty big. Okay, it's a very wide range or wide structure there. So, and in the last couple of months, since I mean that should be April 2025, right from here, we've seen a very massive rally to the upside. One, two. Okay, we've seen higher high, higher low, which is 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So we can count this as our three. There is high possibility of with the fifth wave all the way to the upside. Okay, and the reason why the three is a bit stretched is because we have an extreme rally without an absolute pullbacks. Okay, you can see we have 1, 2. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 potentially. If 4 is too small there, then we can see maybe our 4 around here, okay, or even our 4 right around here. Maybe we're gonna get A, B, C. Okay, then we're gonna now wait for our 5 in form of maybe an ending diagonal or something like that. Okay, maybe an ending diagonal. Then we now wait for the massive drop to the downside. That is the plan on Aussie card, honestly. Okay, we've seen 1, 2, we've seen 3, and we are waiting for 4, potentially back to this region. And this kind of fits into everything because, as you can see, around 1 right here, 2 right here, 3 here, and 4 is actually far from the region of 1, which is actually very good. So I just need to actually map into this. If I can get this profit, then follow another buy to with 5, all right, and then look for a massive short to the downside because on a weekly band this is still at large very very bearish. Okay, you can see if you really counted this and you're really looking at it, we have lower low, lower low, lower low, right? So we have a lower high here. We are expecting a multiple highs here, which can now lead to a further drop, okay, making a fresh new low on that one. So this is a very, very tricky pair because also it ranges a lot. All right, so you might want to actually pay close attention to that. But right now, I'm currently shorting Aussie card, potentially just to capture the fourth wave, and then from there we see if we can actually get the wave 5. My internet is stopped again. Oh God, have mercy on me. All right, so this is where I look. You can see this is more like a counter trend trade, okay, just to capture the wave four, and then we look for buy from that region. I really want to buy Aussie card, okay. I really want to buy. Although the alternative parties, we might see another retest of this particular region, and then the market will fly to the upside. I'm also considering a buy here, and but I will be much more comfortable to buy from this particular region, okay, on Aussie card. So a buy here and a buy here, possibly. Then once it gets to that wave five and I see an ending diagonal, right, something like this, excuse me for that, okay, an ending diagonal, something that looks like this, okay, yeah, I will be looking to sell Aussie card at that time. But for now, let's see how it goes. All right, Aussie card looks pretty good. Brent and WTI also look super cool. Don't forget last week when we were talking about WTI, I said if you see a retest back to this particular region, you can add to your buy or take a fresh buy. Maybe some of you are scared to take the trade. I understand, but anyway, it plays exactly into that, and the market is right here. Possibly we can see him drop maybe when the market open because Donald Trump just said that it's gonna start bombing. I mean, it's gonna start bombing the nuclear plant, or I mean, is it the power plant of in Iran? And if they don't open the Strait of Hormuz, so a lot of trade is going on, a lot of no, a lot of yes, a lot of fake news is going on, considering whatever is going on over there. I mean, it's just very weird right now. You need to check different sources, check what group is saying about the source, because at this point in time, you can't even trust group, right? Group sometimes just lie plain. You have to call out the lie of group, and group will be like, "Oh, my bad, I lied about that." So I mean, it's my bad. This is the accurate information. Then maybe you call it out again and be like, "Oh, sorry about that." You see, you can't really trust AI. Just it's everything is weird right now, so you don't know what is right and what is wrong. And I guess maybe this is what the plan is all along, to just confuse everybody and everybody's just scared and we just obey whatever anybody tells us. Maybe that's the plan all along. But whatever the case may be, I think technical still kind of makes sense. I think we can in fact see another leg higher on WTI. And don't forget the Iranian regime or the Iranian government. They're saying potentially their plan is to see WTI at $200. So I mean, it's a good time to buy WTI, but you want to buy at a very good region, so you don't hold a very ridiculous bag that doesn't make sense. Okay, so that is just my plan on WTI. I'm still holding this one. Let's see how it goes. Okay, let's see how it goes. Gold, gold, gold. Last week Friday, because of the holiday, we didn't really get any move on gold. But this week we're getting some, potentially maybe tomorrow, Monday, we're going to be getting some moves on gold. And this is how I am positioned on gold. First off, on Thursday we got this massive dump to the downside, over 2,000 pips before the New York market opened. And afterwards, we saw like half of that being corrected. All right, half of this massive dump was corrected on the same day. So now, potentially, right, potentially we can see a full retest of this particular region, okay, back to this particular support zone, now being used as resistance before we now get that fifth wave on gold. Okay, don't forget the last analysis. We have one, we have two, we have three. So we are waiting for wave five right at the bottom. The alternative analysis or alternative setup on this particular one is if we get a break above this particular structure here, this multiple support, and it failed to hold the price or resist the price to the downside, then we can wait for something like this, and then we can wait for more and further rallies to the upside, meaning I'll potentially be buying after the break above this particular 4800 region. I mean, a decent extensive rally to probably 4950, and then I get a pullback to retesting this 4800 now being used as support again, just as it was used here. Then potentially I'll be looking for buy from this particular region at that 4800 region again. Those are that. So I said I have two setup. This is the first one right here. Okay, as you can see right here, a retest of this particular region at 4800. Okay, a very decent retest of it. Then I'll be looking to short to the downside. Alternative would be a break above it. Okay, a break above that region, a pullback. Then we look for buy opportunity. Then we can start counting one, two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and then 1 2 3, then 1 2 3 4 5, right? Something like that on this particular. So we have 1, we have 2, then we can start counting 3, we count 4, then we count 5, moving forward on good. Okay, if we are resuming back to the bullish momentum, and then I will have to adjust and call this my 3, and then call this my 5, probably call this my 4. 1 and 2 still remain the same. Okay, just gonna call this 3, call this 4, and call this 5, and then we are done with this particular corrective wave, and then we are resuming the bullish motive wave all the way to the upside to 6,000 or 6,000 plus on good. But as it stands now, all right, I am still at large bearish on gold. I want to see how the market reacts to 4,800. Maybe we're going to get rejected out from that particular region all the way to the downside to get our fifth wave. Or maybe it's going to break to the upside, pull back, and then continue the rally to the upside back to 6,000 plus. Okay. And that is just where I'm standing right now, or where I'm sitting right now. So watch out, stay close, and let's see how it goes. I share the same sentiment or the same analysis on silver as well. Okay, although silver kind of look better structurally when you than gold, because silver already retested this particular support zone, all right, and now it uses as resistance comfortably, and we got a massive rejection from there last week Thursday as well. Although also that particular move around 5,000 pips momentum or 5,000 pips move also kind of like averagely correct itself before the close of market on Thursday, because the market was actually resting on Friday, so we didn't get any move, despite the fact that we had an FP that was pretty good. Okay, so all of that factor together, I would say we might get a drop on silver. Okay, potentially, considering this massive rejection candle. Okay, which candle am I talking about? I'm talking about this one. Okay, this massive rejection candle was actually very profound. So maybe a decent gap to the upside, and then silver will actually drop further to the downside. Well, you can see right at the top here, I have an alternative move. I'm not going to talk about that right now. So let's just focus on the short part, and maybe when we see a cross above 75 77.50 region, okay, maybe above here, then we can now start considering a bullish momentum on silver. But as it stands now, I am at large bearish on silver, so let's pay close attention to that, right? Now let's continue back on the forex pair. AUDUSD is here, and again we've discussed this countless time. I'm still waiting for AUDUSD. See, this might be one of my best trade of the year. I don't know yet. And it sounds weird and it sounds very, very interesting as well. But it could, as a matter of fact, be one of my best trade of the year, because I've been watching this very closely, and this will be like the worst pair or the worst trade to miss, honestly. I want to short it. I told you I only have short plan on all this week. And on the weekly time frame, you can see that this is just getting ready. Okay, this is just getting ready. We have two supply zones, two massively interesting supply zone that I'll be waiting for. Okay, I'll be waiting for the come on, bro. Oh, excuse me for that. Yeah, I want to just yeah, we have a support region right at the top here, and we have one right at the top here. Okay, if I get this, I'll be selling from there, and I think this will actually be potentially it will be the last stop for the buyers for this corrective wave. Okay, because when you actually if you want to count it, let's go to the 8 hour time frame. I think 8 hour time frame will give a better count. All right, so right here we have one. Excuse me for that. So we have I'm not sure I can count all of these, but let's say one, two, three, four, five. So we can say this is three, right? We have one, we have two. Say we have three there, and then maybe our four here, but we have a triangle somewhere here, right? We have a triangle somewhere here. So I don't really know if I'm gonna count this my three. I'll call this one, two. It's gonna be my three. Potentially this is gonna be my four, right? And then we're waiting for five, okay, in form of what? An ending diagonal. Okay, in form of an ending diagonal. When we get that, then we can wait for that short to the downside on all the squeeze. Okay, so all of this is actually very tricky to count for this wave three. That's why I have it in that channel, right? But I'll count this as three, my four. Potentially we're gonna get a five at that 0.5758 thereabout right here. and then we're gonna sell the crap out of all the Swiss. But right now, I don't think it's ready yet. I'm not gonna be rushing into this, definitely not. And it's gonna be a trade I'm probably gonna hold till June, July, honestly, because I want to make a move like this. Okay, I want to make it. It's gonna happen sometime this year. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. But when it's ready to happen, I don't want to miss it. Okay, and that's why I have the structures at the bottom here. Anything that makes it cross below here, I will start selling, honestly. But before then, I don't want any of this to happen unless we get this rally at the top there. Okay, I want to see market come back here before I start selling, honestly. But I pray we don't see a crack in the wall that actually make this actually come down. I hope, I pray. But let's keep close up on it. Aussie dollar, Aussie dollar, Aussie dollar. Right. I mean, it's a weird one, and I think there is possible. There's a lot of potentials when it comes to Aussie dollar. Right, we can in fact see a better drop to this particular region. I'm talking about 0.6767. Okay, right around here, and we can look for buy or maybe right below here. But I don't want this particular trend line getting broken, so I would actually sit on this particular one as 0.67 75 or 70, and that's 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level. So right there, I'll be looking for buy opportunity, but I won't count out a buy from here. For a drop from there, I'll buy again. Don't forget this trend, this bullish trend line. I don't want to see it getting taken out. I don't want to see it getting broken. This one right here, support, support, support. Then the next fly to the upside. Okay, this is the daily time frame, so you should know how strong this trend line is. All right. However, anything that makes it break to the downside, pull back. Yeah, I'm setting it back to zero, something like that. Okay, this looks very weird, right? But for sure, this I'll be expecting something like this or a move as this, something like a 400 to like 600 pips kind of move, and it's going to be on the daily or the higher level of the hourly time frame. I'm talking about the 8 hours or 12-hour time frame. So that's how I'm going to be taking this. Okay, but I'm keeping a close tab on it. And like I said earlier, I love a daily time frame divergence. Okay, you can see it right here. It sometimes it can be very messy, but if you can hold on to it, you can see the market is just dropping. But most of the time, it's just a counter trend trade that ends up kind of makes sense. But when you see it in a trend trade, look at this kind of divergence. Look at this, right? The market just fell off grace. Another divergence right here. Market just it's awesome. Okay, it's very awesome, but you have to be very technical and very careful when you're approaching and using it. Ethereum. So that's not an Aussie dollar. Now on Ethereum, what do we have on Ethereum? Yet again, I think the setup I have here is still at large yet to play out. All right, so I would say that I'm still gonna hold on to this for a while. Okay, we've already seen a break out of this particular channel. All right, we've seen a break out of this channel already, so that alone kind of like create a crack on the wall or in the wall, as the case may be. But yet again, I won't write this off yet. I think we can still get another rally to the upside back to 2300, or maybe further rally to retesting this bearish trend line at something around 2400 right here or right here. Okay, then we can now sell Ethereum to 1500 or 1300. Okay, 1500 right here or 1300 right here. But anything around this region is where I'll be buying Ethereum. And the lowest will be 1100. Okay, if I see Ethereum at 1100, I'll be buying and my stop loss will be at $450. Okay, like an investment plan again. Okay, the same thing I have on Bitcoin. So those are the regions I will be looking to hold on to this particular cryptocurrency asset. And I'll be targeting Ethereum at 8,000 potentially in the next couple of years. All right. And Bitcoin at maybe 200K in the next couple of years as well. So those are going to be my final take. But I want to see a decent retest of this region or retest of this region to take a shot on Ethereum and Bitcoin. So let's watch out very closely on that. Euro Aussie, what do we have with you? I'm not sure there's anything quite interesting on Euro Aussie other than the fact that I want to buy EURUSD. I already have a buy here, but I want to add to my buy. If I get a pull back to this region, I'll be adding to my buy. Right around that corner right there is where I'll be targeting, okay, for a further sell-off. All right. But for now, I want to see it come back here so I can buy. Okay, so EURUSD looks good. And when you take this to weekly time frame, you see that EURUSD is one of those currency pair that on the weekly they are very bullish. All right, across board, very bullish. Pound Aussie, Euro Aussie, bullish assets, very bullish. Yeah, as you can see right there, quite bullish stuff. Okay, so I only just want to say a drop. Okay, just to average this weekly candle, and then we see if we can actually jump into that buy. All right, but let me actually put this in the channel just to make everything much more interesting. Yeah, something like this. Let's make this basic black. Good. So as you can see right here, we have a channel here. All right, we have this. It actually looks super cool in my opinion. Let me delete this one. Right, good. So right around here, we have a channel, and I will just be looking forward to. I mean, we have retest of this particular upper band of the channel, the retest of this lower band of the channel, making it two-time retested. So potentially in the future, we're gonna have to see a retest of the upper band of this channel again. Then maybe a retest until something happens. Maybe it breaks to the downside here, or it breaks to the upside there. But for now, it's still in the confine of this particular channel, and I'll be trading it in that regard. Okay. So a retest of this region, then I'll be looking for buy. A swing buy that might last till end of the year. All right. And when you compare ECB interest rate and what's it called again? Canadian dollar. What's the Bank of Canada, right? BOC. Right, when you compare their interest rates, okay, when you compare their interest rate together, it is on an average, I think, 2.5% each. So this is gonna be like a 0% swap charge kind of trade. So it's gonna be good either you're selling or buying. You'll pay a very tiny swap. Okay. So I think it's still a very good one to hold for a really long time on a positional perspective. So I love EuroCard. We'll see how that goes. But for now, I wouldn't mind a very small short, a very sharp drop, maybe on the 8 hour time frame, and then I'll be joining a buy. I need to rush now. I told you that I want to really spend more time on technical, but time is fast spent, and my internet is also not very helpful. So let's jump straight to pound dollar on the daily. Then maybe I will talk about euro dollar as well. We're just gonna wrap it up there. Okay, I will record another one on Monday for sure. So watch out right here on pound dollar. Like I said last week, nothing is actually very clear yet. I have this 4 hour supply zone, and which also kind of fall at that key level. All right, let's take this to 8 hour time frame to make it more clearer. Okay, 8 hour time frame would be much better. Good. So on the 8 hour time frame, right here, we have a resistance, we have a support. Now we are getting another support, right? So in my personal opinion, okay, I will say let me see if we can use kind of a channel here as well. Okay, kind of channel looks good. Yeah, it kind of break out of that region though, which is very tricky. Let me just map it at the very top and bottom. Okay, good. So I think potentially, right, potentially we can see a drop to this region, right? A drop to this region, and then maybe rally to the upside. Okay, a very decent rally to the upside. And we somehow have a kind of a triangle also around here. Okay, we have a kind of a triangle right around here. You get so potentially again. Okay, let me see if I can take that moving average. I mean, yeah, Fibonacci slightly away, so it doesn't really mess with the chart very like completely. So we're still on pound dollar, guys. We're just trying to see how we can make sense of what is happening out there on pound dollar. The market just opened as well. Time is 10 p.m. Nigerian time. So we can actually see a retest of this lower bound of this particular triangle, all right, before the continuation to retesting this particular upper bound of this channel or maybe a big good drop to the downside right around 1.3035 or 30, actually 3030, before we now see the continuation to the upside. So here or here is where I'll be looking for a buy on pound dollar. Again, here or here is where I'll be looking for buy opportunity on pound US dollars. So watch out very closely, don't sleep on it, and be very patient with it. Okay, we should see something very decent on pound dollar moving forward. Okay, so watch out very closely. I will keep you guys posted on the Discord server. So if just in case anything change, but we shall see. Euro dollar, which is going to be the last currency pair we're going to be talking about today. Okay, we've actually spent so much time together, which is actually fun. I like it. I enjoy every bit of it. So euro dollar on the day, this is the 8 hour time frame, right? I think we should stick to that. I will say that I think we can actually add a channel as well, something like this. Right, it's a range. Okay, the market is ranging literally. It's a very weird range. So I think I should delete this. It's useless now. Potentially, yet again, we are back to that all this cycle of pain and disdain on euro dollar when it's just consolidating. And I don't like seeing euro dollar consolidate because euro dollar doesn't know how to consolidate. It's never consistent with its consolidation phase. But potentially we can see a retest of this particular region right here before we see another leg higher. All right, potentially. All right, back to 1.1400. All right, then we see the next leg higher on euro dollar, something like that. So I wanted to actually pay close attention to that. Okay, pay very close attention to that. And RSI is also at the middle. So nothing is actually quite consistent. And you can see that the pair is also at the middle of the range. Okay, it's at the very middle of the range right here. So I don't trust this. Okay, I don't trust it one bit, but we shall see. Okay, we shall what? We shall see. So watch out very closely on euro dollar. I will not actually advise anything right now unless we see a drop to 1.1400, and then we can buy from, you have to buy from support, right? Buy from support, and maybe we sell from resistance, or maybe break out, pull back, then we buy from support again. Right. So that's gonna be my plan on euro dollar. So watch out very closely, guys. I want to talk about dollar Swiss, dollar CAD, dollar yen, and Dow Jones. Okay, but time is not gonna permit me. So just watch out for the next video on Monday. We're gonna talk in details. Guys, enjoy the rest of the holiday, which is tomorrow, Monday. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye for now.